All right, gents, we got a fun one for you today. We are at the archery shop right now. We're at the Complete Hunters Outlet in Mogadore, Ohio. And this is a bone stock Bear Legit that I'm gonna be building out for my mom because she's been killing it at rifle and muzzleloader hunting, but hasn't gotten into archery yet. I do a lot of work with this shop. They do great work. Figured I'd come in and have them work on the bow for us and show you what it looks like to take a bow from bone stock out of the box to ready to hunt in probably less than an hour. So let's head inside and meet up with Cam. That's the money shot. All right, we got the bow and the vise. This is Cam. She's going to be helping us out today. The goal is my mom's draw length is going to be about 26.5 inches and 40 pounds. 40 pounds is the legal minimum here in Ohio, so I want her to immediately be able to hunt with the bow at the point where it is, and then if we want to add poundage later, we can. These are user adjustable at home too, which is nice, right? Can't you do all this at home?
Yeah, you can.
Easily?
So you're basically just loosening up your 2 screws, and then you get lined up on your number that you need to be at for your draw length. And then this one here that has the multiple holes, you find which one lines up and then cinch that one down wherever it places you for the correct draw length.
Draw is set?
Yep, so I would say basically from there, we should probably pick out what rest you want, whether you want to go beginner friendly more with like a whisker biscuit, or if you want to go with like your beginner drop away. Basically with a whisker biscuit, your arrow is going to be making contact through that whisker biscuit every second after you pull the trigger. So if you have a 27-inch draw, on average you're going to have 25 inches of arrow passing through that. So any move that you make with your hand is going to move the arrow. Granted, it's only a split second, but split seconds count when it comes to this. So the other thing is it's going to be a little bit louder, and it's not going to be quite as fast. It's going to put some drag onto that arrow. When you go with a drop away, your hand torque is still going to have some play in it, but not as much as a whisker biscuit. It's going to be faster and it's going to be quieter. The downside to a drop away is that you have it's a cable driven rest, so your drop away cord is going to be going from the side of your bow to your cable. So it is another thing you can get snagged. So I would say like your whisker biscuits, your ultimate beginner, get out in the woods type of rest. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. But a cable driven rest is going to be something that's a little bit more accurate and one step up. And you're usually, a difference of $10, $15 to get into a beginner drop away.
Yeah, and usually if you explain to a beginner that their rest needs to be timed to get out of the way of the arrow as it's passing through the bow, it becomes kind of like just a lot of stuff to worry about that you don't necessarily want. And since mom's starting from literally zero, I think we'll do a whisker biscuit. And if she ever outgrows it or sees a limitation in it, we can replace it for not too much extra. So yeah, we'll do the biscuit for now.
Okay. All right, what are we thinking sight-wise?
Just a fixed 3 or 4 pin.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like a good, I don't know if you want to go more middle of the road. One that they came out with this year that I'm a really big fan of is this Trophy Roots Dimension.
Okay.
So like I said, that would be kind of your middle of the road. It's going to be a 5-pin. The nice thing about it is it's going to be very lightweight, and it's also all micro adjust, which is great for the price of $75. I mean, you really can't beat that. If you want to go with something a little bit less expensive, I would steer you into something like the Ridgeline. You're going to have the machined mount itself, which is nice. We did have one step below that. I don't have it at the moment.
I think we'll go with the Ridgeline, just to keep it simple. I've used the hot wire. I liked it. I think I did end up breaking it, but that was my fault. But as it usually is. So as far as stabilizers go, what do you typically recommend?
So basically, it's all going to be personal preference. Your average hunter is going to start out with usually a 6 or an 8-inch. For me personally, I like a little bit of a longer stabilizer, but I've also got the chance to screw around with just about everything. I have a hunting bow that I run a 10-inch on the front. I have a target bow that I run 30 on the front. So it all depends what you're doing and how it feels to you, and then it depends per bow too. Like if I had a different hunting bow, maybe I would have a different stabilizer. I think you said that you have, what, a 12 and a 10 or something?
I've got a 12-inch front and an 8-inch back bar, and I tell everybody who's like just getting into archery, it's just like, just have one and shoot a bunch. The longer bar with more weight out front is typically going to stabilize your sight picture as you're at full draw, so your pins are going to have less shake to them, they're going to float a little bit more natural. But you can kind of take that too far and then it becomes a problem carrying it around in the woods. So that's on and the wrist sling's ready, so now center shot?
Yeah, we'll do center shot and then we'll toss Peep in there and go draw it back.
Cool. You want everything to be directly in line with itself so that you get straight arrow flight. If you have very slight deviations in your arrow flight, especially if you shoot fixed blade broadheads, you're going to get planing, and you're also going to get an impact point that wanders left or right as you extend your range, because that arrow is not coming off of the bow plumb straight. It might be slightly canted left, right, up, down. You can get more nerdy with it by doing paper tuning or fixed blade broadhead tuning later, but for practicing with field points, getting used to your equipment, this is going to be more than enough. So we're going to throw a peep sight in now. You can play around with what diameter peep you want depending on how much light you want to come through the peep into your eye, but typically the smaller your peep gets, the more fine-tuned your sight picture will be. The larger that rear peep gets, a little less fine-tuned but better light transmission. And then this is the first time where you see like actual bow shop equipment being necessary to take the tension out of those strings to set the peep in. Up until now, we've been able to do most of this stuff like at home, especially on a bow like the Bear where everything's user serviceable. But it's nice to have a shop that you trust and you like to use to do things like this for you. Hey, puppy. Hey, we're a little busy right this second. Okay.
Double check the cam timing, which I'm going to assume is going to be on.
Yeah.
But we're also going to use this nifty guy and check the weight and see where we need to go. And we're actually right at 41 pounds.
40 is perfect. Okay, great. Okay, last step, she's going to tie in this peep loosely so we can still adjust the height for my eye. If you are having your bow set up for you, set it up for your eye. Mom is not here today to get it set up for her eye, so we're going to set it for me so that I can shoot and give it a rough 0. But we're going to leave it tied a little bit looser so we can adjust the height later. Okay, so we're out at the range doing a bit of shooting with the Bear Legit. There were a couple things I didn't mention in the shop because I did not purchase arrows in the shop. So I want to talk about the arrows we're using. When you go to select arrows, you are going to be looking at a value called spine. You need to make sure that you're getting the correct spine arrows for your bow. Spine is essentially just a measure of arrow stiffness. So a larger spine number means that they have more flex in them, and a lower spine number means that they're more stiff. These are a 480, I believe, and in my personal bow I shoot 300s, and they're stiffer because I shoot a higher poundage and a little bit longer of a draw. Since Mom's shooting lower poundage and a shorter draw length, she'll have a little bit less stiff arrows. Usually there's an online calculator you can use to know what spine is right for you. There's also almost always a chart on the back of the box of the arrows to make sure you're picking up the right thing. Also, we added a wrist sling, which I wasn't able to speak on during the video. There was some shop noise going on in the background. I wasn't going to ask them to stop running their business while we were in there, so you get sort of a natural shop environment. But because of that, I didn't get to mention the wrist sling. Newer archers typically feel like when they shoot their bow and the bow goes off that they're going to drop it, and then they end up doing this number at the actual firing. That puts some hand torque into the bow. It can throw off shots, make them less accurate, and it's a bad habit. To fight against that, I typically recommend a wrist sling when you start so that you have that little bit of extra security so you can let the bow fall and know that you're not going to drop it. That's going to cover anything I missed in the shop. We will head back to the video. So, are you going to adjust height or do you want me to shoot?
See how it is about level-wise? It should be pretty darn close, honestly.
Too low.
Too low?
Yep.
Okay, going lower now. And she's probably going to be a little bit lower anyways.
Probably. That's about right. Looks good. I like that. Can I shoot here?
Yep, put that top pin on there.
So obviously this isn't my draw length. This is about 2 inches too short of my draw length. So you're gonna see my front arm is like bent like crazy to actually bring the bow towards me. That's not proper form. You shouldn't look like that. If you do, get the draw length adjusted. For right now, just ignore that and focus on everything else going on. This thing doesn't feel bad for being
No, they're good bows.
For being priced how it is, it's pretty good. I do have to jam my head down a little to get into that peep, which means it's a little low for me, which is good, because I think it'll be better for Mom.
I'll get this peep trimmed once we're done.
Low right? You don't trust me? I wouldn't.
I'll let you know if I trust you after this shot.
Okay. A lot of pressure.
Yeah, I trust you.
Nice. So the bow's not quite done yet. It's got a little bit of micro tuning left to do, but if you come in here and look at 20 yards, I mean, how much does a Bear Legit cost? 400 bucks these days? And no fancy equipment, nothing crazy. Stacks them at 20. Now we just need to get this to be about there. Yeah, I've become a bit of a bow snob the longer I've been doing this, but this thing is like pretty good.
It's not
There's
that bad,
nothing
yeah.
wrong with it. Touch left, almost high enough. So one thing I'm dealing with is a little bit of peep twist. How do you go about?
So basically your peep twist, say this was already set for you, your peep's where you want it. As long as it's not turned a full 180 degrees, all you're gonna have to do is shift the knots on your D-loop. So you're gonna follow the peep. So say it's kicked off way this way. When you draw it back, all you need to do is move your knots and shift them in the same direction. This steers your string 100%. Now, one thing to think about with the fact that this peep is gonna be moving since it's for his mom, as soon as you move it up or down, it's gonna be thrown off from where your D-loop's sitting at. So it's not crucial right now that we have it completely lined up.
Yeah.
It's pretty darn close, which it's gonna change, like I said, whenever he goes to move that peep up or down.
Okay, so after all that work, this is what we're left with. This is gonna be plenty close enough to be serviceable for now. As soon as a different shooter gets behind this bow, this is completely gonna shift anyway, so I'm not gonna spend a ton of time chasing it. That is one thing to be aware of, is if you're getting into your first bow, you probably can't shoot your buddy's bow, and your buddy probably can't shoot yours very well unless you're built extremely similarly. All of these changes are going to be specific for you and the bow setup that you want to have, which is half the fun of all of it, really. But this one's set up well enough for me that when it translates over to my mom, it's going to be close enough. But all in all, man, for the money you spend on these bear bows, something like the Legit, or I think they have like the Whitetail Legend or something similar, they're hard to beat per dollar that you spend. I'm more of a Hoyt guy personally. I have no relationship with Bear or Hoyt. I don't really care what you buy. But if you're thinking about getting into the world of archery or archery hunting, looking into Bear for something as a starter, and then if you don't like it, you're not out, you know, 1,500 bucks or something for a flagship. That's basically gonna cover it for this video. We have been out at the Complete Hunters Outlet in Mogadore, Ohio. They're a full service archery shop as well as an indoor range. They do some league shoots and stuff. If you're in the area, feel free to look them up and come down and say hello. They have really great service, and they're basically the shop that I use for all of my archery needs. So thank you guys so much for watching as always. We'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.